Evening, YouTube. We're going to try this again. The wind has just not been very cooperative this evening. This is a video response to Jane All Zero's video today on crime and how things are getting worse. About 18 months ago, when we were still living in the little town that we moved from, there was about 350 people in this town. We had started noticing a definite uptick in thefts. Everything from just simple little things like anything that was left out in your yard, breaking into your sheds and taking, lawnmower gas cans, things they could walk off with, skill saws, that sort of thing. But then we started noticing food coming up missing. A family that my daughter's friends with, their mother had stopped up at the grocery store on the way home to pick up dinner and toilet paper. Dropped it off the house, put the perishables in the fridge, and ran off to go pick up kids from whatever particular athletic practice they were at. Came back to start dinner, and the items were gone off the cabinet. Nobody else had been at the house. It was no, they were just gone. We ourselves had items come up missing out of our pantry, which was right by our back door, that always didn't get locked. We didn't think about that out here. Until we started missing things like canned tuna, Spam, heat meat stuff like the kids' ravioli and SpaghettiOs, things of that nature, Velveeta. Never anything out of the fridge that we were able to find or freezer. It was mainly out of the cupboard, non-perishable stuff. When we had spoken to our the police there in town, they said that they were having a real problem with what they call travelers. That we were at the intersection of two rather large highways through here, and that we were getting a lot of this. A lot of people coming through, and that unless they were called upon to remove them or they had broken into private property or something of that nature, they couldn't do anything about it. There was a closed up motel up on the highway that they would have to rouse them out a couple of times a night because they were in there. And that's one of the reasons that we moved out here to the middle of nowhere, out in the country, was because gas in vehicles wasn't safe. Tools in the back of locked vehicles was not safe. We were still losing them. Dust in the face. There were a myriad of other reasons that we wanted out of even that small of a town. But we moved out here, and we think it's all, should be all well and good. And within the first week or so of us moving out here, we were told by our local sheriff's department that the people around the corner from us, which is a full half mile, and then another quarter of a mile from us, had lost some items from their place. And those of us that are preppers can look at this place and we know exactly what it is. This wasn't their weekend retreat like they were calling it. This is their bug out location. But they had items stolen from it. Fenced in, big gates, big, done great big old padlock, great big chain, or great big, chain links on the chain that was wrapped around it, because this was the second time they had lost stuff in a matter of months. Their items were retrieved. Some real good police work on the part of a police officer in the next town over. Saw a kid riding around on a four-wheeler. Went to go correct him about some stuff. Realized he was acting suspicious, and they got their items back. But it's out here too, out here in the middle of nowhere. We have this big bright light. As you can see by the reflection, we have another light on the house, on my van. My children's trailer is across the way. And I still managed to lose gas. Of course, they're not in the shot right now. Normally they are. We have the protection detail. We have 3 big old laps. And whoever it is watching for when we bring the dogs in. We know we have seen odd lights, heard odd noises. We already are watching everything that goes on out here on our place. Already. It does tend to get worse towards the end of the month. That's when we've noticed it. Like about now, we'll have to come out and walk around the yard sometimes when the dogs go barking, and it's not the "Hey Mom, the coyotes are up." It is come out here and pay attention. We also start noticing, particularly like towards the end of the month, we start having more problems with people driving by, vehicles that do not belong out here. There's no reason for them to be out here. There's maybe 2 houses on every mile section, 3, and it starts looking a little crowded. We're literally in the middle of nowhere. There's no reason for them to be out here. A lot of our roads, we are so far out in the middle of nowhere, a lot of our roads are not even gravelled. They're dirt roads. They say maintenance ends. County doesn't even take care of them. So we know what vehicles belong out here. And towards the end of the month, that lasts 7 to 10 days, we start noticing strange vehicles out here. We've been told by our local sheriff's department, and having talked to some of the farmers, the farm boys out here, park their pickups out here to go, use their tractors out in the fields and stuff. Nobody ever takes their keys out. Have never needed to. Now they have to lock their vehicles up because people are coming in and stealing the vehicles, stealing the things out of the vehicles, stealing their farm equipment, stealing their tools, stealing the gas out of them all the time. There was a report here a while back of a guy, broad daylight, out on his ATV pulling a little sprayer unit behind it. Went up into his house to grab him a sandwich, make a phone call, came back out. This is in his front yard. Came out and the little sprayer attachment was gone. Just gone. Someone had saw it, decided they wanted it, and off it was gone. Don't get into town much. Do tend to stay away from most of that. We try to do as much as we can in one trip so we don't get in. I know I do sit and listen to the scanner some nights, particularly if we've heard a lot of siren activity. Because of where we sit up on a hill, we hear sirens 7 miles away out on the highway. We'll turn on the scanner and we'll be listening into the town, which is about 15 miles away from us. And we'll sit there and we'll hear, and it's just one robbery after another, or someone fleeing because they were caught robbing someplace, and it's just all the time now. Out here where we live, because of the county that we're in, and we're a very large, like yours, we're a very large county, very small population. Our county line ends up here about 3 or 4 miles, and so we don't get the same protection as the county next to us because they're a much more populated area than we are. That's fine. Don't have any real issues with that. If we needed a sheriff's deputy out here, it'd be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and that's if they were hauling butt. Out here, it's one of those sort of things, you call them, put them on speakerphone, slide them into your pocket, and you handle the situation, and so they can come clean up the mess. And that's exactly what it is, because there's no way that one of them can get here. It's not possible for them to get out here in time. So we have to be prepared at all times to take care of ourselves, to protect our property, to protect our children and our lives. And never wanted it to be this way. That's not what any of us want, but it's come to that. And I said, towards the end of the month, we start noticing it becomes a very serious deal. We hear people walking, back up in the pastures. Don't have any idea what they're doing up there, what they're looking for. We have to call into the sheriff's department, call in suspicious vehicles, call in tag numbers. We're all getting really proficient at being able to tell what county some vehicles from and giving descriptions of vehicles because we don't want them out here. We don't want the trouble that it brings, but it's here and it's getting worse. Every weekend we notice a few more, few more different vehicles running up and down these roads. They don't have any business being here. You start, talking to the sheriff's deputies or talking to the police in town when we do happen to go into town, and they talk about what wild weekends they've had. You look in we have weekly papers. We're such a small county that we have weekly papers that you read in there in the notices. you know, where it tells, you know, what the police did and the sheriff's officers did, you know, for the week. And it's just one thing, you know, one suspicious activity after another, a robbery report, a theft report. Used to be, it was, you know, kids out drinking, the occasional DUI, the occasional speeder, unlocked door, you know, skunk in a yard, that sort of thing. Not anymore. Now we're talking, it's theft. Break-in, burglary, burglar. It's getting serious, folks. Even out here in the middle of nowhere. Morty out. Let's see if we can get our security team in on this. Where are they at? There's 2 of them. Hey, where's the 3rd? There's the 3rd. Oh, and there's the big dogs. She put you to the ground?
Uh-huh. I sat here.
And what does that have to do with chicken poop?
Because I fell on the ground and there's chicken poop everywhere.
You realize it's truly a farm girl thing to say, ooh, Mom, did I sit in chicken poop?
It's gross. I'm afraid to go over there.
Why?
Because it's dark, come stand here.
Why do you need to go over there for?
Check on chickens?
Honey, the chickens are fine. They're sleeping. Leave them alone.
Oh, we'll go sleep and even hang out with bats again.
Chickens do not hang like bats.
It was hanging like a bat.
I'm sorry, you've lost your mind.
No, it was. Come look.
I'm not going to go look because it's impossible.
No, it's not. It was holding on to the bar upside down. With the things like this. I'm not joking. It was.